Hey guys, welcome to the brand new show Kickoff. This is a show where we discuss one of our greatest shared passions that we have in common. As you can obviously see here on the table, it's going to be about football, or in some territories, soccer. So on my right over here I have Mitchell, which you probably know from Critical Condition Weekly. And on my left, you probably also know Mr. Carvin here, that he also appears on our special episodes of Critical Condition Weekly. So without further ado, Carvin, tell us a little bit about your team.
Thanks, Mario. So my team is Juventus.
La Juve.
Yes. I've been supporting them for a very long time, probably since I was about 9 years old. So I'm just going to go through a bit about our pre-season, our transfers over the summer, in and out. A little bit about last season as well, how we finished off, and and leading into the start of this season.
Excellent.
So, obviously, people who do follow football, you'll know that Juventus was in the Champions League final.
They were.
And
I actually thought they would have done better. I am also a Real Madrid supporter, guys, just to let you guys know. But I honestly thought this was the year that Juventus would have had us.
Yeah.
Well, we actually had a discussion about that before the game.
We did, yeah.
We thought that Juve was one of the teams that would be able to beat them.
Yeah, yeah.
And
our playing style really... that's why I thought we did so well against Barcelona, because our defence was so strong last year, and I believe it was the best defence in Europe.
Wasn't it like they only got 3 goals scored against them?
There were 2 goals before the Champions League final,
So
and that was only in the group stages, basically.
Yeah.
So Barca didn't score a single goal against us in both legs.
And you have to be special to keep Barca out.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And it was a very special defensive unit that we had. So, we had a lot of high hopes. Went into the final, half-time was 1-1, looking really good. I don't know what happened. There's been a lot of rumours over the summer that we had a little bit of a dressing room bust-up during half-time. A couple of our defenders called out other defenders.
Wow.
And, things got pretty heated and had to be separated. And there was a bit of a tiff with Allegri as well, our manager.
Okay.
So that was what was told, and that's why we were kind of... you could see it was a very different team in the second half. It was a very different team.
But by the same token, I just think that's kind of a cop-out. It's to say, this is why we lost. Take the loss. Don't make excuses. Yeah.
No, I completely. I understand. I completely agree. I completely agree. And that's obviously come out very recently about this sort of stuff. Thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate you. No, I agree, and I don't think excuses in sports.
I wasn't going against you. I just mean like as a whole. Like
of course. Yeah. But one of our best players left very suddenly, and.
They did.
As to why, it's still up for debate. He says he needed a new challenge. But, and the player I'm talking about is Leonardo Bonucci. So he went to a direct rival in AC Milan. It came out of absolutely nowhere. There were issues in the Champions League where he got kept out of the squad against Porto because he had a fight with Allegri, and he actually didn't play the first leg against Porto.
Okay.
Yeah. There were also other issues that they've had. So there was an ongoing thing, but they came out public saying, look, every family has a fight, and, kind of brushed it over. So there could be some truth about the dressing room, but who knows? But all I know is we were a very different team in the second half.
Yeah.
And then obviously, a couple of the Real Madrid goals were, I would say, lucky.
They were questionable.
Questionable. There was a few deflections, which we couldn't do much about. And then, the last couple, it was just, we just gave up.
You were just defeated.
Yeah.
After a couple of questionable calls, again, being a Real Madrid supporter, I watched this game and I was like, oh, they got a bit hard done by. Because I'm not a fanatic. I am not a fanatic. I hate people that make excuses for their team and they're fanatical about the team and whatever they do wrong, no, it's always the ref's fault. I am not that type of soccer fan.
Yeah.
And I always go by what my gut feeling is. This is a very controversial view that I have that I'll share with you later. But I will definitely say there were a lot of questionable calls in that game. And by the time the actual goals came from Real Madrid, you guys were already defeated.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a fair challenge. You guys had already been arguably hard done by, depending on what side of the coin you are. And by that token, you were gone.
Yeah, well,
that was it.
Yeah.
You had no comeback from
Yeah.
that.
Two of the goals were clearly offside.
Yeah,
I could
Yeah,
easily see
they
they were
They
offside.
were.
And
And obviously having deflections on top of that, it's bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
But separating that,
but yeah, there's bad luck.
we got dominated in midfield.
Yeah.
Pjanic and Kadira, who were both our central midfielders, they really got outdone by Modric and Cruz. They're world-class players, but they really did dominate us in midfield.
Yeah.
So obviously there's only so much our defense could do in that period. Leading into that, so us as a Juventus fan, I know reading up, knowing a couple of Juve fans around the world as well, we were very excited about the Champions League final. We've made so many Champions League finals. I think it's like 11 or something like that, and we've only ever won 2. So we were very excited, thinking this is finally our year. We made the final a few years ago, lost against Barca.
Yep.
But we were still a very, it was a lot of the players of their first final, and Barca were elite at that time.
That's when they were very much invincible.
Unreal. So leading into last year, we bought Gonzalo Higuain. I know he may not be one of your favourite players.
I was going to say Mario's favourite player.
No, because of how he plays for Argentina, which is very understandable. So we bought him we paid the buyout clause from Napoli for 90 million euros. I was excited about that because I wanted a striker that would actually finish the goals that our midfield would create.
Yep.
And Higuain, before that season before, he broke all sorts of records in Serie A for Napoli. Just being the man,
he was the man.
Just
He was the
slotting
man
it through, and he was very good. Questionable about his performances in high pressure games, and when
World
things
Cup, we're looking at you.
Yeah. And that's understandable. But I was very happy with that purchase. I thought it was a lot of money to pay for a 28-year-old at the time.
That's one of the major talking points that we're going to be discussing a bit later as well, is one of the biggest signings of the season in regards to money-wise.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes, we will be talking about that later for
There's
sure.
something in the soccer world that just happened.
Yeah,
Jeez,
which is massive.
Has to be discussed.
Yes, and we will get to that for sure, which is very exciting. But it kind of changed the landscape of a lot of teams by that happening.
It goes to show how much the players that are arguably better than him are actually worth.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I've got...
We'll touch on that.
I've got thoughts about that later on.
I'm sure the true soccer fans out there know exactly what we're talking about, or even the partial soccer fans. Everyone knows about it.
Everybody.
So,
world news.
So we bought him. We bought Pjanic from Roma, so another direct rival. We poached a player from them. Bayern Munich, get accused of this with Borussia Dortmund. They do take like Hummels, Goetze, things like that. Goetze didn't really work out for them, but we kind of weakened other teams by taking from direct rivals. But you do what you do when you're successful.
Kind of like a Man City.
Yeah, but
but
I wouldn't compare Juventus to Man City,
but Jesus, Manchester City have bought some horrible players.
Yeah, but they've also bought players just to bench them as well. Just
yeah,
their roles
true. But but that's the thing. We bought players based on how they're going to help the team. And we needed a striker to finish. Higuain was one. We needed a creative midfielder. Pjanic was perfect for that. So I was really happy with that. We also bought a young Croatian, Marko Piazza.
Yep.
Or Piasha. I don't know how they pronounce it, to be honest. He was from Dinamo Zagreb, the team that Mario Mandzukic also started at.
Yep.
He's a left winger by nature. Really exciting. I think we paid about 23 million for him at the time. Really exciting prospect. Fortunately, did his ACL while on international duty, so he didn't play in the later round in the Champions League for us. But I'm really excited about him this year. We did have Cuadrado from Chelsea on loan. We got him on 3-year loan. This is last year. And Benatia from Bayern Munich. We loaned him as well before the start of last season.
See, I told you that.
Cuadrado, you also just bought as well, didn't you?
No, so during the season, because Chelsea had a fee if we wanted to make him permanent, and we ended up paying that. I think it was 20
million euros,
So, that was exciting to because I think he was underused at Chelsea. And because we played 3 at the back when he joined, we could use him as a wing back as well as an attacking midfielder, which I thought was great. We also bought Mattia Caldara
Okay.
and Orsolini. So they're actual Italian under 21 players.
Okay.
High potential. So Caldara is a central midfielder. We got him for 15 million euros, which is a lot of money for a guy who's not very well known outside of Serie A, but high potential centre back. And we purchased him looking at the long run because we got Daniel Regani, who's an incredibly talented young central midfielder. So we bought Caldara from Atalanta, but we loaned him back to Atalanta to develop a little bit more. So
that's good business.
It is very good business by Juve. And Orsolini as well, we just loaned him to Atalanta this season to develop, and he's a left and right winger.
Okay.
So really talented players. I was excited about that. So we were really excited about last season. We dominated. We lost the Supercoppa to AC Milan, but also Supercoppa was just straight after friendlies, and things can happen.
It's sort of like a pre-season, sort of like, hey, here we are.
Correct.
This is what we're trying to do, but
it's kind of gauge how the competition's going to go.
Don't judge us too harshly if we kind of have a misstep, because at the end of the day, not all your main team is fielded.
Exactly, and
it's sort of
at
like
full 100% condition, things like that. But we did dominate Serie A, which we were expected to. Teams were still, Napoli and Roma were probably our threats, but
it's been a very long time since the Italian league has been a very
level playing field.
Well, this is what I was going to get into with this season with Serie A. I'm very excited about it. As being a Juve fan, obviously I love dominating. 6 Scudettos. I'm very happy with that. Why wouldn't I be?
God.
But I'm not going to lie. I think everyone loved the days where Inter and AC and
I'm crying because of Manchester United.
The glory days where it was really competitive. Inter had some glorious players. AC had dominant team,
AC Milan,
incredible.
That's pretty much what you want out of a league, though. You just don't want one team dominating. In the German league, pretty much Bayern Munich, they're pretty much going to win most of their games.
Yeah.
And when the team's just dominating the whole fucking league, it kind of gets a bit boring because you know the result. So you're going to kind of switch out, and your team, they're probably going to lose. So why should I watch? Why should I go to the stadium and watch? Why should I pay my hard-earned money to watch that?
On top of that, it also affects world-class players sometimes leaving other leagues to come to Serie A. And that's what you're finding now, which is starting to happen, but the last few years has not been happening much as it used to. Ronaldo, the original Brazilian Ronaldo, came to Inter. Obviously Zidane was a Juve player. Look at Ibrahimovic, Patrick Vieira came from Arsenal to Juve. Look at the history of AC Milan. Andrea Pirlo,
Clarence
Seedorf, Pavel Nedved played for us. These are all world-class players.
Nedved is an actual ambassador to your team.
He's actually vice president, I believe. So he's highly
one of the greatest Czech players to ever play the game.
The greatest Czech player, I would say.
You would say
I would say
the greatest?
he won a Ballon d'Or. He is an incredible player. If anyone has seen Nedved play, that's when I started watching Juve. Nedved, Del Piero were my idols.
Yeah.
Incredible player. Having all those players play in Serie A was a great thing. And I think it was lost for a while, especially with Juventus getting relegated to Serie B.
Yep.
A lot of everyone left. Except Del Piero. And God love that man. Buffon.
Wow.
God love that man. Nedved. Buffon. Who had won a Ballon d'Or, I think, 2 years before. Think about that. Think about Messi.
Yeah.
Right? Or Cristiano Ronaldo winning the Ballon d'Or. Their team gets relegated because of directors and the mess, how they messed up.
They caused.
And they stayed with that team.
Yeah.
That speaks of passion. That speaks of heart, commitment, and this has been forgotten in the modern game of football.
Yeah.
The loyalty when you have, incidentally, a question that you're going to ask me later, but when you have players like Wayne Rooney, he came from Everton, so I can see why he sort of left. But to allow a team as great as Manchester United to let go of the greatest scorer or the all-time scorer, to let him leave the club, that speaks volumes to how much loyalty has left the game. Right?
On both ends. Because now it's all about another topic, the top dollar, right? So
Well, I think
It's quite
they let Rooney leave on a free transfer just so that they could get in good with Everton, so they could sign Lukaku.
Oh man,
what they got
there's some sort of backdoor shady deal with
Yeah,
that.
possibly.
Because what they got Lukaku for, they paid under what his value probably is at the moment, especially
after last season.
and especially with the amount of money that's been put into the Premier League now with the TV rights. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what has inflated the market all over the world is the fact that the amount of money that's been put into the Premier League alone.
Yeah.
So that's why you're seeing so much money for like all these top-rated players, because
look,
they have to pay for it in order to stop the Premier League from poaching all the good players.
But the epitome of loyalty, as you were saying, is these Juventus players.
Exactly right.
You know, the team gets relegated and they stay with the team.
They stay with us.
And I've never been a Juventus fan, and I applauded them. I was like, holy hell.
Yeah.
Wow.
And these aren't subpar players.
Yeah, well,
Buffon
he is probably one of the greatest goalkeepers.
If not the greatest,
Yeah.
If not the
to ever
greatest
play.
goalkeeper.
And he was at his peak. I mean, he's still basically at his peak.
He's
but
still at his
do you know what I mean? Like, he was at his peak at
He's
that
like
time.
100 years old. He's still like
He's
stopping
God,
everything.
he's phenomenal. And Del Piero was incredible.
Oh, wow.
I mean, people forget how great a player he was. But those places, and David Trezeguet as well. Well, I forgot about David Trezeguet,
Oh.
but he wasn't. But he scored a ton of goals for us. And
Absolutely
his market value at
fantastic.
the time, we could have got a lot of money, but he didn't leave.
Yeah.
He's actually a scout for us at the moment. So, you know, all of that, fantastic to have that player loyalty. So all of that, that's why I wasn't unhappy with being 6 years, winning on the trot, competitive or not. I was just happy for Juve to be back at top flight, gain some money, compete at the Champions League. We also got Dani Alves for free.
So that was a free transfer?
That was a free transfer from Barca.
Wow.
And he
That's a good
was
signing.
incredible for us. Last year, he was really good. And I told you, he just blocked out Neymar completely out of that leg against Barca.
Yeah.
So we do make some smart transfers. So unfortunate about the Champions League, but this year we've really gone into the transfer market. I will talk about this. We lost Bonucci. I spoke about this before.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that, and I hate that he only went for 40 million when people like John Stones goes to Man City, who's not even half a player that Bonucci is as a defender, for a lot more money, and we lost him to a direct rival. So there must have been something going on that we don't really know about. But listen, we bought Douglas Costa. Well, we loaned him from Bayern. I'm really excited about it.
He's a good signing.
Yeah, he's very good. He's a good player.
Back in from like a German team, especially Bayern Munich. You're getting your money's worth there, because I wrote down how much they don't know the fee that they've actually got for him.
So
I think it's a $6 million loan.
Yeah,
but I don't know what the option. I think it's 40 mil, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's they don't really disclose too much about that.
Yeah.
We bought Benedeschi as well, Federico Benedeschi. Now I don't know many people know about Benedeschi. He's a 23-year-old Italian. Fantastic player. He's an attacking player, number 10 on the wings.
he's the right wing.
So really happy with him. 40 mil for him.
Yeah.
Got him. Chesney got a backup goalkeeper from Arsenal.
From Roma, right?
From Roma.
But he was on loan, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, so you finally bought him.
We bought him.
Good luck to you.
So yeah, look, I think he's an upgrade on Neto, who was a backup keeper before.
True.
We bought De Sciglio, which is a right back from AC Milan, and Bentancur from Boca Juniors, your beloved childhood club.
And you also got Benassia as well, didn't you?
So we ended up paying for Benassia after the loan. Yes,
it was like 17 million euro.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that. So and then Regani's going to step up now with Bonucci gone, which is exciting. Only thing we need to buy for us to wrap it up before I pass on to Mitchell is a midfielder. Like I said, I thought we got dominated in midfield. Pjanic is great. Khedira is good, but he's still slow. We just need a holding midfielder, someone who's really strong. I would love, my dream signing would be Marco Verratti from PSG.
Wow, yes. That guy is amazing.
He's incredible, plus...
Amazing midfielder, so much passion.
So much.
And so much technical skill, not seen in an Italian player for a very long... Apart from Pirlo.
Since Pirlo, as a midfielder, Pirlo, I can't think of a midfielder who's
I was about to piss off all the Italian people that might be watching this.
Majestic.
But Marcos Verratti, no?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy, man, he is all class.
Yeah.
Like, I rate him high. I don't rate PSG very highly as a team, but this guy is amazing.
And I would
with the amount of money they spend now, they're going to be a pretty formidable force, man.
We're going to discuss that later on the topic of the show.
So I would have loved to get him. I think it would have been perfect, but obviously a lot of things need to happen, and a lot of money needs to be spent to get him. So I would love to get a midfielder. I know we're working on Matuidi. I'm not really excited about that. And
that's not a midfield that you guys deserve.
No, and Zonzi, I do like him, and I think he would be a good signing. And the other one we linked to is Omre Shan, the Liverpool midfielder.
Not even him.
So
you guys need a world class.
We do, but we'll see what happens. And we also need a right back. Stefan Lichtsteiner might be leaving, which means we need someone high quality. We're holding on to Alexandro. Chelsea's throwing 70 million at us, but we've said no.
Wow.
Very good player. We got him from Porto a couple of years ago. Great player, and we need him. And thank God we're going to hold on to Dybala because
especially after the new transfer market movement.
Yep. So we've come out public. Usually Juve is like, if our player wants to leave, we'll let him go. But with this, we said no. We're holding on to Dybala, which I loved. I thought that was a great step.
And that's a great move.
Yeah.
Chelsea also, they've been selling so many players this season. They really need him. They really need him.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do this season because they've sold that many players that are decent that it's going to be a hard season for them.
Incidentally, they just got beaten by Arsenal in the FA Community Shield.
They did.
And that was not... I mean, that was by a stupid tackle that Pedro
it wasn't,
committed.
It probably wasn't red-worthy, though.
I don't think it was. No. And then a free kick, set play, goal gets scored, penalties... it's a 50-50 penalties. God knows I know. I follow Argentina. But, it was just a bit of nothing, really. I mean, Chelsea were okay, but granted, their entire team wasn't playing. It wasn't on the field. The same as Arsenal. Yeah. You didn't have Ozil. You didn't have...
no, and that's the thing.
You didn't have Sanchez. On the other side, you didn't have Hazard. There was
and the Charity Shield is very much like Supercoppa, which I was speaking about before. We're playing Lazio in our Supercoppa in this weekend.
Yeah.
Again, we should win, but it's still basically kind of like pre-season.
Yeah.
But you always want to beat your rivals when you can.
Exactly.
So that basically wraps up Juve.
So before you wrap it all up, let me ask you this: what do you think Juve will end in the season? Do you reckon they'll win it this year? Will it be like a clean sweep like they kind of did last year, or will somebody challenge them? Will the famed rival finally? Start nipping at your toe. Nipping at your heels, sorry. Not nipping at your
I
toes.
wouldn't mind seeing Juve or Atletico win. Not Atletico, bloody... I'm drawing a blank right
Inter?
now. But Inter, that's
okay.
it. Yeah, Inter.
You want to see Inter Milan win?
I wouldn't mind.
Inter's too far. No, I don't.
No, I don't think so.
Look, I don't think Inter's close. Look, AC Milan have done a fantastic job in the transfer market.
Yep.
Bought Bonucci. They'll pair him up with Romagnoli, which is another young Italian defender. They bought Frank Kessie from Atalanta, so he's a really strong Ivory Coast midfielder, young guy as well. They loaned him, I think. Bought Andre Silva, who's a Portuguese striker.
He's pretty awesome.
He's young as well, and they got him from Porto as well. They bought a couple of Argentinian defenders as well.
I don't know why you would.
Argentinian midfield to strikers are really bloody good.
Well, they got your favourite Biglia as well. They bought him.
The pain in your face,
you know
then.
Lazio, I congratulate you for getting rid of that dead weight.
Yeah, they got
the pain in your face.
So look, they've reinforced, and they got a Chinese, they got Chinese owners, investors, so they've really reinforced. So I think they'll be up there. Napoli's always up there. I think Roma have held on to some players as well. So I think it will be a very interesting Serie A.
But your prediction, how do you reckon Juventus will go?
Juventus will win the league.
They'll win the league.
Juventus will win the league.
What about your
That's not just me being a blind supporter. Juventus, even with all those signings, they're more quality signings, but not world class. And I think Juventus, the squad that we have, is still phenomenal. Like, we lost Dani Alves, we lost Bonucci.
Dani Alves left.
Dani Alves has gone to PSG.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So even with those losses, which are big losses, I think we've got such an in-depth squad, and we're still yet to buy a midfielder and maybe another right back. So I think we will win the league, and I think we'll really compete for the Champions League.
Excellent.
Before you throw to Murray, I've got a question for both of you guys.
Okay.
What do you think about the new ABBA-style shootouts, penalty shootouts?
Oh, the EBBA.
The ABBA.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was like, ABBA, what? I thought that it was a bit lackluster in the emotion sense. Like when I was watching Chelsea Arsenal, shoot it out, I thought it was a bit just a bit of nothing really. I think what's really amazing about as much as I hate penalty shootouts, but the tension that gets built up when a team misses one, and because you had a kick straight off the bat, I was like, I'm not. There wasn't as much excitement.
Yeah.
There was no tension build up. It was a bit of a nothing. Might as well just, in my personal opinion, might as well just call it a day. Let's replay the match in like a couple of days' time, because I didn't feel any sort of emotion. What about you?
I completely agree with Mario. I think that emotion was taken out of it through that. I wouldn't go as far as to say replay the match, but
I'll just throw another.
Yeah. No, I get it. But I think your point's valid, and I think the emotion and the suspense and everything's kind of taken out of it.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, I understand why they're doing it, because the statistics are at least 60% of the time the people that take the first penalty shot always win it.
Wow.
So it's not an even contest. So I can understand why they've done it. I understand what you're saying.
Yep.
But at the same time, they need to.
But they also toss the coin for that contest.
Yeah.
And some teams actually choose to be not on the receiving.
Yeah,
Like they choose to be on the receiving end of the first.
But that's what I like about it as well, is the fact that it's a lot more tactical.
Yeah.
So if you win the toss and you're like, yeah, all right, sweet, we'll go first.
Yeah.
But that doesn't detract from the fact that you go, you take the first shot, but then the second team takes 2 shots in a row, then you take your shot.
Yeah.
So
I kind
of like it. I think it'll grow on a lot of people once they realise there's a bit more of an even contest with the penalty shootouts. So yeah, I don't mind it, to be honest with you.
Okay, I hope you're right. One last question before we go into our break, guys, is I just wanted to know your next matchup, Mr. Carvin, is Juventus against Cagliari.
Yes, the first game of Serie A. So the first matchup, like I said, will be the Supercoppa, but Cagliari, yes.
So how do you think that's going to go?
I think we should win comfortably. Well, I mean, last year we played them twice. Last season we played them twice. I believe we won 4-0 in 2016, and in 2017 Feb we beat them like 2-0.
Okay.
So do you care to put a score line on it, or are you just going to go for the?
Because it's the first game of the season. I would say 2-0.
2-0.
I'd say 2-0.
What about you?
I'm probably saying 2-1.
2-1. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be a little bit closer because it's the first game of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know how your stamina will be. So,
Okay. They'll like goal by then.
I don't know whether you new guys, if they bring the new guys in, I don't know how well they'll gel. So, but I think that they will win 2-1.
Okay. Well, I actually believe they're going to thrash them by 3-0. 3-0. That's my Juventus, by the way. Going to beat them. So,
you guys leave your predictions in the comment if you'd like to jump in on this. Yeah.
Be quite interesting to see what you guys think. Yeah. So with that in mind, guys, we're going to go into a little bit of a break before we go into the next segment, which will be Mitchell discussing about one of his favourite teams. No, actually, you're going first.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, excellent.
All
right, guys. See you after the break. Hey guys, welcome back from the break. So, Mitchell, tell us a little bit about your team.
So, guys, my team is Norwich City. I know that it's probably not the most spectacular or glamorous team, but I like them, so I don't care. I'm just being honest with you. I always get a lot of shit from these guys, but yeah, it's all good. I support my team. I'm passionate about them. But yeah, so I'm just going to delve right into the transfer market because pre-season's just kind of a...
It's a bit of a nothing.
It's a bit of a nothing, pretty much.
It's a bit of a test. Test your formation. Test what players are working, what players are not, who really wants to be in the team, who doesn't.
Yeah. It's more about making the new guys gel with the existing teammates, which doesn't matter in this case because the majority of the new...
Your whole team's
Yeah. As
What is it, 9 signings? 8 signings?
10 at the
10.
moment. Well, 10 signings in total, but a few of them are on loan.
Okay, but as in like for your immediate first team and...
For the immediate first team, there's about nine new
Yeah,
signings.
that's a lot.
We did get rid of about 7 players, though.
But the good news is that your team is finally spending the money that they earned in the Premier League.
Well,
So-
no, they're not.
What? Really?
No.
Because I thought maybe with that many signings that finally your directors finally decided to spend the money to get back into the Premier League.
We actually sold a few players and we got $19.5 million.
So you're still running at a profit?
We're still running at a profit, yeah. They're still in the black, which is not many of the teams in the Championship are running in.
I mean, commendable, but at the same token, I would imagine, you having tasted relegation. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make but you would want to spend money to get back there.
Of course, yeah.
Especially being such a big team as Norwich is. Like Norwich City, as much flack as we give the poor guy over here, but it's not a small team in England.
Of course not.
Norwich City is an important team in the history of the Premier League.
Well, it's one of
and
the founding.
Championship leagues.
One of the founding teams of the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's not a nothing team. It's just unfortunate that over a couple of seasons and in the last 2 decades, they've come up and down a couple of times. But this is a team of normally solid players that just have incredible.
The bad luck they have.
Just incredibly unlucky in their results.
The amount of injuries that they had when they were in the Premier League not last season, the season before. Yeah, you guys didn't play. You played well. It was just. I always like to think of this team as it was one that I always talk about it. Blackpool. Blackpool they were an amazing soccer team that had an incredible amount of bad luck. Their results didn't go their way. They hit the post a couple of times. They missed a couple of goals and then got fluky goals called against them. And then they got relegated now in like 3rd, 4th division. I think they're in the 2nd division at the moment.
Yeah, so
I think they lost their first game of the season. So.
Norwich always reminds me of that team. I'm like, incredible talent, incredible, history, and
the player that I rate the most out of Norwich City is Hallhead.
Yep, you have a lovely
he's the
love letter with him.
He's a creative playmaker.
He's very good.
His passes are pinpoint accurate. Yeah, which I'll talk about a little bit later in the Fulham game.
Yeah.
But just getting to the transfers, so far we've had Marcel Frank, who's a centre-back from Bundesliga's 2 side, Gruther Firth, and we got him for £2.55 million, which is a pretty decent signing. Not spending too much money, but for what he is, he's a pretty solid centre-back.
Yeah. And from the league that he's coming from,
Yeah, and which is good because we needed to replace Russell Martin. I know a lot of people, just because he's our captain, just stay with him, but last two seasons he's been playing like crap.
How old is he?
I think he's 30 now.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the weekend he had a bit of a unlucky deflection that
for the goal. Fulham scored. Yeah.
But that's football. It happens. You just got to keep on going.
Yeah.
We've also had James Husband, who's a left back from the champion side Middlesbrough, and we got him for £961,000.
Okay.
So we've been buying smart, which is something that we haven't been doing for a while.
Yeah.
We've been wasting a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But we bought Ricky Van Wolfswinkel. You remember him?
I remember Van Wolfswinkel.
He's a
I actually quite
a mouthful, yeah.
I'm actually quite proud of myself when I got that first go. I was like, damn.
He was a bloody good player. The fact is that they didn't play him right.
Yeah.
And if you don't play a player the way that he knows how to play, he's not going to work out. And we spent so much money on him and didn't play him right, which just destroyed
There's so many players like that, though. I mean, that's where managers can make players too.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting the most out of their ability by putting them in the right positions to do so. A lot of people go wrong with that, and we'll talk about one in your team a bit later as well.
But we've also had Mario Vrancic, who's a central midfielder. We got him from Bundesliga 2 side Darmstadt for $638,000.
Been raiding the Bundesliga.
There's been a German invasion.
Defenders there be.
There's been a German invasion at Norwich. Even our head coach and our
maybe that's why. Maybe the head coach is just
well,
because he was Borussia Dortmund's
reserve? Borussia Dortmund's reserve. Actually, speaking of that, Christoph Zimmermann came from them as well. He's our centre back.
Yep.
And we got him on a free transfer. So I don't know whether Daniel Farke has just gone. That's our head coach. Whether he's just gone, mate, I'm going over to Norwich.
Yeah.
Just say you don't want to sign with them again. We'll get you on a free transfer and I'll bring you over with me.
And we'll get you playing every single match.
Yeah.
Which is something that you won't get.
No, exactly right.
Well,
and he'll develop under my
Well, Zimmerman, I think he's a 6'8" centre back.
Jeez.
Yeah,
man.
he's tall. You see him against other guys.
Is he slow though, or is he like a motorcycle?
No, he's pretty.
I think he bleeds a lot less. For those of you guys that don't know, Mertesacker got a bit of a headbutt in the last game and just was bleeding profusely. Had to get subbed off. That's my joke. I apologise.
He was the captain for that team and for a Borussia Dortmund reserves pretty much.
Yeah.
To be a captain and
no, of course, and he's young as well, so it's
and most German defenders are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Look,
so.
a lot of the young German players coming through are fantastic.
Yeah.
They got a lot of. I mean, you see their youth squads, which are basically put out for the recent tournaments and stuff. You know, they didn't play any of their stars. They still win it.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible.
It's the German machine, man.
They just keeps churning out.
Yeah.
As much as Murray doesn't like the Germans in the World Cup.
That's because, incidentally, guys, like for you guys out there that don't know, I consider myself very much an Argentinian person. I was born in Australia, but I was raised in Argentina. And you know what? Argentina tends to face either Italy or Germany at a final. Whether it be East Germany, West Germany, or Germany as a whole, we tend to, like, we've had really bad luck against them. We've had really great luck against them.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that it's just, when the great teams meet at a final, same as Brazil, as much as, Argentinians like to say that Brazil, they kind of wins their way around and then always get to final. You know what? They're the greatest team in the world. Because they've won the most amount of World Cups. Mm-hmm. Second is Germany and Italy, aren't they? I think they have the same amount.
Yeah, I think they've got the same amount.
You know what? And Argentina's only won 2. And that really hurts. That really hurts because we've had so much great talent.
It's a bit of a sore spot.
I know.
Yeah, well, kind of like Italy with me in the World Cup when they dove and... knocked Australia out of the World Cup, but anyway.
But that was welcome to the World Cup sort of thing. But
they could wait. Well, they called it because they couldn't have a team like Australia that was ranked.
They couldn't have a team that like Australia beat
Italy. Yeah.
But then they ended up winning the tournament. So there you go. But yeah, no, Argentina. Argentina, one of the greatest teams. Brazil, Alemania, Germany, again, one of the greatest teams to ever grace the soccer pitch. Italy. Netherlands, incidentally, one of the greatest teams to ever not win a World Cup.
They are always a mystery, though.
Like, how do you get a team?
I don't know. There was a time where you looked at their team and you're just like, what? They basically started the 4-3-3, right?
Yeah.
But in the team, and the players they had, it's like, how did you not
but
make
this again, football is just weird,
Yeah.
Argentina, by all intents and purposes, for the last three World Cups, should have won it. Because we arguably had the best team fielded on the field.
Well, last World Cup,
and now Argentina's got a lot of aging players in the team, so I don't see how they're going to win any of the next two, maybe even 3 World Cups.
Dude, I don't even know how we're going to get it even qualify.
It's a bit of a struggle for you guys at the moment.
Well, they're borderline at the moment.
Yeah.
At the moment, they're still in the same position. They've got to play a qualification match against one of the Oceania teams.
Well, it's like Australia. They're sitting equal third, only behind on goal difference. So, and I think they play UAE next.
Okay.
If they win that, they'll be in the top 2. So then they'll go through. I'm just hoping they bloody win it. But back to Norwich. Marley Watkins is our right wing. We got him from champion signed Barnsley for a free transfer.
Okay.
He's a pretty good player actually. Tom Tribal, he's a defensive midfielder from the Dutch First League side. ADO Den Haag. I think that's how you say it. Haag. But we got him for a free transfer as well.
See, you got a lot of free transfers.
Yeah, free
though.
transfers,
I mean, the risk
you know.
involved is very minimal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and if you don't like him, you release him.
yeah.
And or you just sell him and get a bit of a profit out of him.
Yeah.
Why not? But we got Tristan Abrahams. So we got him he's a centre forward. We got him from Leyton Orient, and then we loaned him right back to him. He's only 18 years old, but he's looking like he's going to be a pretty formidable centre forward. So
It's always good. Yeah.
yeah, just put him back out on loan, develop his skills, bring him back if he's good. If not, just sell him along.
So you're happy with the transfers?
I'm pretty happy with the transfers, but our recent signing, we got him yesterday at the time of shooting this. Marco Schlepperman. He's a central midfielder from Bundesliga's 2 side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got him for VFL Bochum.
Wow.
For a fee that's not yet known. But yeah, we got 2.
Borussia, Norwich.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Borussia Norwich, right?
Borussia, Norwich, yeah.
Well, Huddersfield, I believe, did it last season. And they're now
Now in the Premier League. Yeah.
And they did that a lot. They got a lot of free transfers, got a lot of loans, and just gelled them into the team just enough so that they could get to the Premier League. And then now they've got a bit of money, they're able to spend it.
Yeah.
Well, that's ultimately what you want, you know.
Yeah.
The TV rights on the Premier League are astronomical.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, as
No,
we were saying
Nice,
earlier,
yeah.
it's like, I think there's $5.5 billion over 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a lot of money.
That's
Amazing.
a lot of money. But we got Angus Gunn, who's our keeper. We've been using him all the time, but we got him on a season-long loan from Man City. But he's the son of Brian Gunn,
Okay.
who most Norwich City fans would know. He was in the 93-94 UEFA Cup against Bayern Munich, where we actually won it. So
you beat Bayern Munich.
beat Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich, yeah.
Wow.
Which
I didn't know that.
yeah, bit of trivia for you guys that the only time that we've ever faced Bayern Munich, we've faced them 2 times. The away leg we won 2-1, and the home leg we won 1-1. So we've never lost against Bayern Munich. So that's
One of the only teams that could really say that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's
yeah.
so they've always been a very strong team. So that's wow, impressive.
They went into that game
I
thinking.
mean, Bayern Munich comes against Norwich. They go, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They're going to destroy us.
Yeah, that's what this. Yeah.
Well, that's the mentality that Bayern Munich went in with. They were so cocky and arrogant that they thought, yeah, we're going to run away with it. We're going to win 7-0.
Yeah.
And they lost 2-1, and they only got that one goal at I think it was the 84th minute. So
That's brilliant. Yeah, you know what? Good on them.
yeah. So that's Angus Gunn's father who was playing in that season, and he is the reason why we won that game. Pretty much, he stopped so many
the keeper
short
as well.
goals. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that he learned his trade from his father.
Very cool.
But Harrison Reed is a central midfielder. He's on a season-long loan from Southampton.
Yeah.
He's looked pretty impressive so far, but yeah, you never know. We're going to sign a few more central midfielders because we've had no luck with that at the moment, where most of our midfielders have been injured.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've had to bulk up on them. But
So how about your most recent fixture?
Daniel Farke is the new head coach. I just wanted to say that he came in after Alex Neil was sacked.
About bloody time too.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Alex Neil, but I mean, come on, your results. I mean, you got relegated from the Premier League.
Yeah.
Then you had a lackluster season with Norwich in the 2nd division.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It showed that you really cared about the team, but it was about time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He lost his confidence when I think we were lost against Liverpool 6-5. And after that, because he was always playing...
What a score.
6-5.
Yeah, we were up 3-0.
6-5?
And then we lost 6-5.
Wow.
I believe it was 6-5 against Liverpool.
Norwich was always a really hard team to beat.
Yeah.
You know, they just...
They're a
They
very
just-
attacking
they
side.
weren't-
Very solid defensively, just like this.
Well, they... not lately, man. Fucking leaky boat, man.
Wow.
Leaky boat, I tell you what. But he lost so much confidence from that game because he was always playing an attacking style. And then after that game, he played defensively, which you can't really do in the Premier League. You can't play just a defensive side and play for the draws and all that. It just doesn't work.
You can't be like Chelsea was.
I was going to say, well, Chelsea wanted playing like that.
Chelsea wanted back then. Now it's a different ball game.
Well, look now. You've got your left back and your right back who are pretty much attacking bloody backs because they're always running right up there. Pretty much right wings.
Do you mean overall in football?
Overall,
oh yeah. I mean the fullbacks have become they have to be attacking players.
It's not a defensive game so much anymore. It's more about outscoring the opposition.
And it's also made it more exciting for those neutral people that don't follow football because of all the diving that is still very prevalent in the game. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You would know. Sorry.
I mean, on that note, I was just speaking. I was watching the Champions League final with two of my friends while we were overseas. And one of my friends loves football, the other one hates football.
Yeah.
And we're watching Champions League final. And, the first goal for Juventus was by Mario Mandzukic, the overhead bicycle kick. Incredible goal. And, the friend who doesn't like football was quite impressed with that. And that's a lot of skill, right? Yeah. Then the whole saga with Sergio Ramos happened with Cuadrado. And I just couldn't. Me and my friend who loved football, we couldn't excuse that. You can't, and that's
it's frustrating.
It's undefendable.
Such a stain on the game, and it's to bring in. I know the football's a world game, and it's got enough fans, but to keep it growing, something needs to be done with diving and the theatrics that's involved. Something needs to be done.
That's freaking ridiculous.
Well, that's one of the things that's coming up in the new season. I don't know whether it's in this season or the season afterwards. But I've heard there's going to be a too-much ban for diving.
I've heard that as well.
About bloody time.
Yeah.
As to how they're going to police that and stuff, I guess maybe they do a review. Like, I know in the NBA, they have a flopping rule, so the league reviews it and there's a $10,000 fine or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they're actually going to consult with Ruben from... I think that's where they're going with that.
They're going with that one. Okay.
In 2 years' time, that's why when he retires, finally, they're gonna consult with Ruben. He's gonna be the head. He's gonna be the head of diving.
Now back to Daniel Farke though. I've been pretty impressed with his pre-season though because most pre-season games.
I love his name by the way, just on
Farke. Yeah.
He's Robin something.
Yeah, but we've been impressed with most of his pre-season games because what he's done even before most games, he's had a 2 to 4 hour intensive training session, even before the game. So they're exhausted by the time they get to the game, and they've got to play the 90 minutes.
That's when they go, please help me. He doesn't feed us.
You're going to need a lot more depth. That's going to be the case.
Jesus Christ.
Well, that's... It's been good though because he's been preparing them for the upcoming season, and in the latest fixture against Fulham, you could really see that. So in the first half, Fulham were pretty strong. Yet Norwich didn't play a bad game. They only went down 1-0 by an unlucky deflection off. Martin's foot, which went past Gunn. Yeah. But in the second...
And they also had a lot of chances to put it away.
Finishing with a shred. This is a common trend that from the last season that Mitchell had me look at, watch the highlights. Yeah. They always had so many chances and they couldn't put it away. And you know what? That unfortunately comes back to bite you in the ass at the end of a season. Yeah. This is why they're not at the Premier League now, because when the chances needed to be taken, they couldn't.
That's not the reason, though, man.
That's what I think, anyway.
No, they were I think they were the top joint highest scoring teams in the league last season.
So the defence was awful.
Their defence was absolutely awful.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, they had so many chances, but they created so many more chances than the other team that they were able to eventually put them away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But in the second half, Fulham was starting to fade because they've got a lot of fast-paced players, but they just...
I did like how Fulham looked, though.
Yeah, Fulham
they got some new players. Honestly, they looked quite...
I think majority of the team are new. But they've got a lot of quick play
Especially that left winger, they kept stepping on the ball and trying. Like how many? Like he hit the post. He was
good.
something impressive.
Yeah, no, he was pretty bloody good. Well, they're actually predicted to be one of the 2 teams in the top 2 for automatic promotion.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, whilst Fulham had a strong first half, Norwich were the stronger of the 2 teams in the second half, and that was mainly because of their stamina training they had in the pre-season. So, I've just written down a little bit. Fulham notorious as boogeyman because we've lost, I think, 5 of our last games against them.
What do you call them?
Boogeymen.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you thought I called
I
them?
know. I just never heard that term before.
Haven't you?
I've heard bogey team, but not boogeymen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right,
They looked to run away with all 3 points.
Right.
However, a pinpoint chip over the top by Hawley and chested down masterfully by Oliveira and past 2 defenders. He tucked it under Button, who'd played an awesome game the whole time. He'd stopped so many good chances. But they brought Norwich level and continued their unbeaten run from the pre-season into the competition.
Okay.
So overall, it was a pretty entertaining game. It was a hard fought by both sides. Fulham felt that they should have won it. Norwich felt that they should have won it. But overall,
Norwich should have definitely won that game in the first half alone.
I think they had a lot of and Norwich kept going around the wings, cutting it back in, and just couldn't.
Yeah, they just could not. Like the finishing was just lackluster.
That's and once Oliveira came on, he made the difference. And Oliveira and Houlihan. Houlihan is our best creative playmaker that we've probably ever had.
I think you might have a secret crush on Houlihan.
Maybe.
Well, did you see that chip over the top?
It did.
It was very nice. It was very nice.
And then the finish by Oliveira.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what that's what you'd expect from.
That's what you want from a creative midfielder.
Especially if you want to go up to the Premier League, you need to be producing those.
And he was always, to be fair to him, English Premier League quality. He was a very good midfielder.
The loyalty he's shown to Norwich.
That had really bad strikers that season.
Yeah. The loyalty that he's shown to Norwich has been impressive. He could have probably went off and played for one of the top Premier League teams and.
I'm pretty sure Leicester City wanted to buy him at one stage.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our right wing, Jacob Murphy, we ended up selling him for £12 million to, I think it was Southampton. No, Newcastle, and he was a talent. He came up through the Norwich youths.
Okay.
And
so that's development player.
Yeah, so he is bloody good, and I think our development team, our youth squad, is a AAA rated or a AA rated youth squad. So they've invested a lot of money in their youth. So I'm just hoping that a lot more
come through.
Youth can come through.
Yeah.
But so that was the recap of the game. But our next opponent are Sunderland. We play them at Carrow Road. Norwich in the last 6 meetings with Sunderland only lost twice, winning 3 and drawing 2. So I'm hoping that they continue that form and beat Sunderland and continue to go up the ladder towards those automatic promotion spots.
Yep.
Excellent. So let me ask you this, Mitchell.
Yep.
Where do you think Norwich is going to end up at the at the end of the season? Do you think they're finally going to get to the playoffs? Are they going to meet the 1 and 2 requirement to automatically ascend to the Premier League? Or are they going to be in the playoffs, or are they going to not even be close?
Well, if they
I know it's early in the season. You can obviously change this answer after a couple of games happen. But right now, your gut instinct, your gut feeling, what do you think is going to happen with Norwich?
Currently, I'm excited about how they're playing at the moment. They're playing a lot more possession football. They're actually playing a lot more build-up, taking on the counter. They're actually, as you saw, they left and right wing. They're able to get in behind the defence.
Chances.
Yeah.
It's just if Fark plays Oliveira a lot more, if we play 2 up front, I think that we will be in the top 2.
And how about your defence? Like you spoke about, that was your weakness. What do you think you've done to actually improve that for this season?
Well, we've actually
they just threw Germany at it.
Pretty much.
What can we do to fix it? Germany. Boom. Like, wow.
Currently, our right back option is out injured. Once he comes back, I
But you've
believe.
got Zimmerman and
We got Ivo Pinto out on
yeah.
the right. We got we don't have Close at the moment because he's been out injured.
yeah,
He's a massive.
He's a massive German.
yeah.
He is, and he's a massive. If we didn't lose him towards the end of the Premier League, we probably would have stayed up. If once he comes back and Ivo comes back out in the right wing, we've got Zimmerman, Pinto, and Close in the centres.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that'd be
I
pretty solid.
think we'll be top two.
Top two.
So you
Ooh.
you and Fulham are going up. You reckon Fulham will be the other one?
Yeah, Fulham.
Yeah.
They're
For sure,
They're
the
a
way they-
formidable
I
team.
think Fulham's a set. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely set for that. But
Wow.
yeah, okay.
If he doesn't play Oliveira up front, if he just sticks with Jerome, as much as I love Jerome, if he doesn't stick Oliveira up front, we might be just in the promotions playoff.
Okay.
Okay, so
But-
the next match that's gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
Norwich against Sunderland. Where do you predict the score?
it'll probably be a close game. I reckon it might be 2-1 Norwich.
2-1 Norwich. Calvin?
I'm actually going to go against Norwich.
Okay.
I think it'll be 2-1 to Sunderland.
2-1 to Sunderland. And I'm going to be the middle ground man here. I think they're both awful teams. No, I'm joking. But I think they're going to draw. There's definitely going to be goals because the defense has actually quite lackluster in my experience. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
I don't know. I think you guys might be surprised, especially with Close coming back and Ivo Pinto coming back out.
I think eventually, yes, but I think there was enough
that
that I saw in the first game. Yeah, you do have certain structures in place that will help you later on, but I think right now...
Right now,
I think they're both coming back for the Sunderland game though. So
Okay, all right.
which has got me.
Well, each of our predictions is each of our predictions. So.
But I've just got a quick question for you guys.
Yeah.
What do you think of Oliveira's celebration? Do you think it was justified, or do you think it was out of order?
Look, it depends. Sorry, I think it depends on his relationship with his coach. So... Do you want to explain the celebration to everyone before?
All right, so guys, the celebration was Oliveira at the 89th minute with a chip over the top by Hawley, as I was mentioning earlier, tucked it under button. And he was so passionate that he took his jersey off, ran over to Fark and pointed at his name on the back of the jersey. So
yeah.
It was a pretty...
So on that, I think it depends on the relationship he has with the manager. Now... If it's a good relationship, but the manager was trying to prove a point by saying you're on the bench, then that's fine. But I think if it's genuinely the manager said you had not done X, Y, and Z, and that's when I'll put you back in the first team, it's almost a show of disrespect to the manager, who is basically the person trying to select if you're going to be in the team or not.
Correct.
So it depends on the relationship, which we don't know, obviously. From what we saw, the manager had a laugh about it.
Yeah, he had a bit of a laugh, gave him a kiss on the forehead and gave him a hug. So,
yeah.
And he come out after the game and actually said, I'm fine with it. I did the same thing when I was a player.
Okay, so he might have a good relationship.
That's what I want from my players.
He's getting benched.
Yeah.
Because I know with Allegri, if you do anything like that, you're not playing next game. Like, basically, you're just not playing. Like, yeah.
But look, it's a testament to Oliveira with his passion that he has for the club. That even though, he scores a goal at the 89th minute and does that, you know what? Good on him.
Yeah, whatever helps get to results. That's the thing. I mean, yeah.
If that's what you need to do to show your manager that, hey, pick me.
Yeah.
You know what? Should have picked him first.
Yeah.
They might have won the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Especially the combination with Hooligan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that would have, that might have changed it. What ifs?
Yeah.
We can only live in the what ifs.
Exactly.
So with that in mind, guys, we're going to go into a little bit of a break now until we come back, which will be the second last segment of the show. So see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back from the break. So we've heard about Juventus. We've heard about the fabled Norwich City. Now it's time to hear about my favourite team of all time, Manchester United. Now, Manchester United had a bit of a strange season back in the 2016-2017. So last season for everybody else that's watching.
And the season before that.
Oh, it's been a while since we've had a championship winning side.
Where Norwich beat you 2-1.
Ha ha ha.
Mitchell, you've had your chance.
He just clings to it like... Anyhow, so the last season, guys, saw the implementation of the new manager, Mourinho. Now, Mourinho, you know, all I can say about Mourinho is that my prayers were answered when Van Gaal got the boot. Because I did not rate him as a coach whatsoever.
He was a good coach in his younger years, but I think that he just kept the same way that he always played into his later years. He should have retired a few years before that.
Hey, that's a fair point. And incidentally, I was actually hoping that we would get Klopp when Klopp was in the Borussia Dortmund era, and he didn't know where he was going. Yeah. But unfortunately, Liverpool got him. I don't necessarily think that he's had the greatest of times, although Liverpool has improved dramatically. Yeah. But the main reason that I wanted Klopp into Manchester United was because I honestly think that our main problem back then was defence. And I think to this day it might even continue to be so. But I believed with Klopp we would get an influx, sort of like Norwich City did with German defenders. Yeah. And, you know, German defenders are quite good, quite skilled. They're great at defending, strong, tall. Something that you would require, especially in the Premier League, you know? Yeah. But in saying that, you know what? We got the chosen one. And I think...
The self-proclaimed chosen one.
The self-proclaimed chosen one. And I think he's an excellent addition to Manchester United. He might not be as great as Sir Alex Ferguson, but you know what?
He's the GOAT. He is the GOAT. Greatest of all time. Go.
Okay, I was like, but you know what do you guys think of Mourinho?
Let's start with he's you. A bit of a I don't fault him for his tactics, all that, but I just hate his arrogance. He's a Ronaldo for me, pretty much.
Okay.
Like Ronaldo's a decent bloke outside of football. Inside football, he's an arrogant prick.
Shit, I'm like, wow. Okay.
Mourinho is the same vein, pretty much.
Okay.
To me at least.
Oh yeah, look, he's arrogant and he does portray that, but I think putting aside personality and stuff, I think as a football manager, he knows his tactical style. And he'll bring in players and use the players how he wants. And I think every manager needs to have that.
Yep.
When, especially in a team like Manchester United, instead of just kind of, you know, this is my team, you play here, whatever, and just have kind of wing the formation. He has a strict formation. Not my favourite. I don't really like how Mourinho teams play. However, he gets results. And at the end of the day, that's what you want.
Well, not at Chelsea, he doesn't.
But that was a whole sort of...
There was a whole, thing. But look, I think...
Well, exactly. They didn't play for Mourinho. They wanted him out.
And that's what they got.
And that's just
and then they got Conte, man, and Conte's been fantastic for them, you know.
Conte's a great
coach. He's a bloody good coach.
He's a very good coach. But in regards to Mourinho, I think he is what the team needed at the time. I am a firm believer that, you know, he's a firm coach with a sound tactical mind. Yeah. He knows the English Premier League very well. So I think that was an advantage, even though we didn't end up in the position that we wanted to. You know, I guess at the end of the day, going to Manchester United, it must have felt really good for him to sort of stick it up to Chelsea in the way that he exited that club. Not so much to the fans, but to the board. Yeah. You know, that he was the chosen one.
Yeah.
And the way they got rid of him was a bit of a dog move, in my opinion. But it
was like Leicester with bloody
with Ranieri.
Oh, that was
a bit sad.
That was the biggest dog move.
But you know what? They needed it though. They weren't going anywhere with him, and it wasn't his fault. It was just that the players needed. The players got a bit prima donna.
Well,
in my opinion.
it is the fact that they lost Kante from their team. Kante was
Well, you know,
backbone of
incidentally,
that team.
you get Kante back and like you get Kante in Chelsea and they win the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, he's a gun of a
beast.
midfielder.
Yeah.
He's an absolute gun of a midfielder.
He holds the play up awesomely, and he's able to pinpoint accurate passes over
Yeah.
the top, which is what
He's a
one
fighter.
Leicester.
You take him out of any
team,
midfield,
Premier
and it's very hard to replace him in terms of the workload. But
And the signings by Leicester City were not very good, so this is...
no, they
this
should have
is
done a
when-
lot more after winning a Premier League, for sure.
But they held on to their money, and that's what.
And that's what
screwed them.
ultimately saw your demise as well into the EFL.
And the thing is, right, when you have players like Mahrez and Vardy and stuff like that who did well that season they won it, if you hold on to your money, you think you're going to hold on to the players? No, because you're not going to perform the next year. If you put the money in, maybe do well again, you can build a team. But they just...
And that's what Kante did. He provided the balls over the top to Mahrez and Vardy, who had the speed to get in behind the defenders. And get the goals.
It's also a thing with I think with Leicester City as well that the tactics of the team were found out because they ultimately won it that way. They won it with a counter attack.
Exactly.
Same as we were saying before that Chelsea won it with defending. It was like the teams in the Premier League knew what Leicester City was about, and that was ultimately harder for them to beat a team that way.
Well, you saw at the end of the season, teams kind of woke up to it. Yeah.
But they couldn't stop them.
By that point, they were so far ahead that
it was...
And that's when they have the preseason to go, right, this is what they're going to do, this is how we're going to stop them, and ultimately they did. But then, the jack in the box was Conte from Chelsea, that you had this Italian coach,
former Juve coach.
coach, that knows how to get his team to play football.
Yeah.
And he annihilated everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the passion of that man, is commendable. I detest Chelsea as a soccer team, but you know what? I can't fault them for winning that EPL championship last year. They were the team to beat. Yeah. Tottenham came very, very close.
They were a bit unlucky, Tottenham.
They've been up there for a while now, and I think Pochettino is one of the greatest coaches that Argentina has ever seen.
They've got a very solid squad.
Yeah.
Apart from Lamela.
I know you always hate Lamela. Yeah. But they've got a very solid squad, and it'll be interesting to see how they go this year. Actually,
I think they'll be up there.
We just played them in our last pre-season game at Wembley, and we lost 2-0.
Yeah.
Pre-season still, but they
were pretty impressive in that pre-season game. Yeah. I think that they'll be contending for the title this year.
But you just never know with Tottenham.
They're very unpredictable.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been like that ever since Luka Modric and I was about to say Harry Kane, I apologise. I mean, Bale. Gareth Bale used to play for them. They were always there. There was always the potential. They just never really fulfilled their potential.
I think this year it could be a close one between Man U and Tottenham.
I'm glad you think so.
You think Man U? Okay.
With the signings they've got, if Lukaku and I'm just forgetting names at the moment, and Matic, if they go well with Pogba, I think that you guys might be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, well, incidentally, we're going to touch that on a little bit later. But that subject. Certainly not Matic, but with that...
You don't like Matic, do you?
Not really. I mean, I think he's just as good as, I guess, Fellaini.
Ooh. No, I don't think so. Fellaini's just shit, man. Like, fuck.
I'm glad you said that.
Matic is a much better player than Fellaini.
Fellaini's just trash.
I'm glad you said that. I was waiting for you to say that. Matic is an infinitely better player than Fellaini.
I know you think so.
I'm just taking the piss.
Yeah.
But anyhow, look, you know what? Mourinho. Arrogance by the bucket loads.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I do actually not like about him is that he slams his players publicly.
Yeah.
There is a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
And I know even the great Sir Alex Ferguson was at times a little bit critical of his players publicly, but he learned from it.
And
Mourinho doesn't learn. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why he got kicked out of Chelsea. Then he came over to Manchester United and he did the same thing. Now, Granted, there was times that I was like, you know what? Yes, because these players need a little bit of a kick in the ass. You're not the best team in the Premier League anymore, and it's about bloody time you guys started to know that.
Yeah. Well, with
You're not
Ferguson,
winning,
though,
so therefore you play to your ability, and if you're not willing to put the effort in,
Yeah, you're benched.
You're benched. I get that.
But with Ferguson, though, he did it at a point where the players believe they were better than the club. They were above the club.
He did that a few times,
He just did it to knock them down a peg.
Yeah.
I think Mourinho does it when he's just frustrated and he just wants to lash out, which doesn't help the team at all, because these players aren't going to want to play for a bloke that's doing that to them.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Incidentally, in the season we finished 6th, which is not ideal for one of the greatest clubs in England, especially in the Premier League era.
And monetary wise as well, the amount of money they spend and where they are in regards to,
especially in the last type of
players.
couple of seasons. Yeah. But you know what? Ultimately, last season saw the coming of one of the greatest players to ever grace the field of football. Pogba was bought from...
I thought you were about to say Zlatan.
Zlatan is the second...
I didn't know who you were going with that. Okay.
Zlatan is the second coming of Jesus. But Paul Pogba, you know...
Do you believe that statement?
I actually do.
Okay. Right.
I actually do. I'm not joking. I think he's an excellent player.
I'm sure a lot of the viewers right now are throwing stuff at the screen because of the portrayal of him.
Well, the thing with Pogba, though, is he's an awesome bloody player.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's played with decent players around him as well, he needs to be able to get the ball to those players that are going to go through and score.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Look, yeah, on that point, I watched Pogba from the time we got him for $800,000 from Manchester United.
He was a youth player, guys.
And you know, I watched him develop at Juventus. I watched what Conte did with him.
Yeah.
And he, in all honesty, he's a fantastic player. Mm-hmm. And people forget he's only still 23. It's so young
he's
for...
a young bloke.
And I think he was used wrong at Man United. We discussed, he's more of a roaming midfield playmaker. He does what he wants, and you give him that creative freedom. He's not box to box. He's not a holding midfielder. You can say he's an attacking midfielder, but he's got the length to defend as well. If you use him properly and put players around him, like you spoke about, you were right. He can be world class.
He can be with Matic, Lukaku, and him. If they all gel together, I reckon.
More than Lukaku, he needs. I mean, he had Ibrahimovic. He needs people in midfield and to let him have that creative freedom without putting too much responsibility on him. You'll see him lose the ball a lot. Yeah. You did last year a lot. But that's because he gets isolated.
What you'll be able to do with Matic behind him as well, because he'll be able to get that ball back.
You're right.
Give it back to Pogba.
Yeah.
Pogba will be able to get it through to Lukaku or even go himself. And it'll be an interesting season. They'll be able to score plenty of goals. I'm just hoping that they aren't a pretty leaky boat like Norwich and concede too many.
What do you think about your defence?
Our defense. You know what? We hanged out by the skin of our teeth. Last season we had Rojo, which a lot of people think he's average. I think he's a good left back. I don't think he's a good centre back. Yeah. We had Paul Jones. We had Bailey.
Eric Bailey. Yeah.
Well, actually, you guys got Luke Shaw back this year as well.
But he'll
through injury last season for most of it.
But look, as much as I love how he plays, he'll probably get injured again. And this is not me not being cruel. It's just one of those things that I expect that he'll be playing really well, and then bang.
He'll be all right if he just doesn't play against any Argentinian teams. And they came through and fucking smacked his leg. Jesus.
Yeah,
that was a brutal tackle.
Was it an Argentinian or Portuguese?
I'm pretty sure it was an Argentinian team.
Who are they playing? I can't remember.
I think but they were playing a Portuguese team. Maybe it was an Argentinian player.
Yeah, it was an Argentinian player.
Yeah, those Argentinians, they're always breaking legs.
That was you saw him. He was going for those legs. He wanted
shit, man. And you know what? In this instance, I don't agree with you.
He wanted.
I remember watching that. I don't think he was going for the legs.
He had raised legs at him, man. Both legs at him. He just
I didn't see it.
Well, of course you didn't.
Back to Man U. I do worry a bit about your left and right back situation though. So Luke Shaw, yes, but he's still coming off an injury. It's yet to prove anything.
Man, we got Valencia, and Valencia is not
He's a quality
right
player though, man. I think.
Who is?
Luke Shaw.
No, I get that, but
he's
any player
fantastic.
coming back from injury
Four
is
or 5 4 or 5 games into the season, he'll
be injured again.
No, I reckon he'll be. This is a prediction. I reckon that he'll be one of your best players this year.
Dude, if he doesn't get injured, I agree with you. I'm
yet to. I don't know. I think he's got a lot of ability, but I think
he's got a lot of
more than ability. I think
ability and heart. It's just that the problem is that his
body fails him.
If bodies fail, and
anybody's body will fail him if bloke comes in with.
You're right, but I'm talking since that it's very hard to. Yeah, I mean we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what happens with him. But incidentally, with as you mentioned before, Pogba came in, fantastic player. I rate him very highly. So I think with Pogba, the ridiculous expectation that was set by the UK media was that he was at Juventus. He was surrounded by such amazing players, and that didn't happen in Manchester United, as we all know. And I think this is what I like to refer to as the Messi effect. Messi is an excellent player for Barcelona, wins countless of Ballon d'Ors with Barcelona, but when he plays for Argentina, the players around him are not that great. Yeah. They don't play towards his tactics. And this becomes like a lackluster sort of performance or perceived lackluster performance by Messi.
Well, that comes down to the fact that you were actually saying earlier, is the fact that they all think that they can go through and score. Whereas if they did the build-up play, got it to Messi, he could score.
That's a very fine line to walk in a national team. In a national team, you have to balance it. Regardless if Messi is the best player in the world, arguably, you don't want a national team that just relies on him, because that's what you get. That's the Argentina that you get in the last. I'm
not actually saying you rely on him. I'm actually saying you get the ball to him when it's possible. You just don't take the ball into the box yourself and try to score.
But they don't do that. See, at the moment, there's no Argentinian player that would, when they should take it into the box to score, they don't do it. They basically just wait for Messi. They pass the ball to Messi and they kind of just watch him, do his thing. So it's like
the last couple of games I've seen, they actually aren't getting the ball to Messi.
And this is good.
They're actually trying to go for themselves.
Which is good, and I think that's a positive sign, because...
And how have they gone for the last couple of matches, though?
Are you talking about last couple of competitive matches, or...?
The last few matches they actually played internationally.
They didn't have Messi for the last few international matches, but...
Yeah, but before that, they weren't getting the ball to Messi. They were trying to go themselves. And look where they're at with the
but that's not because of that. That's not because of that. That is because
with the qualification.
Yeah, that's because that's a direct correlation with, hey, let's pass the ball to Messi and let's just fuck about in the back of the field.
Correct.
Hey, Messi's the greatest player in the world. Let's pass the ball to him and watch him
Look,
play.
this is one part I agree with Mario completely. We talk about this a lot.
Ridiculous for an Argentinian team. Any player that passes the ball to him and thinks, oh, let's give it to him because he's better than me. I'm sorry, you can get the out of the bloody team. And you know what? There's countless of young people in Argentina that think they are better than Messi. And you know what? Those are the type of players I want in the national team. Yeah. Because I want them to say, you know what? Messi could be a multi-million talented soccer player, but I'm better than him. And this is why. And those are the type of players, young players, that I want playing for our team. Not this reverence of, oh my God, Messi's in the same field. You can have respect for a soccer player, but once you think a soccer player is better than you in a soccer field, you don't deserve to be in the soccer field.
But that's the thing there. It's a team. It's not just one player. You can pass it to him, but you need to support him as well.
Yeah, 100%.
You need to continue to go up against.
I'm just saying,
And I think
I'm not saying hog the ball.
Yeah,
I'm saying if
I
you
think-
pass it to him, you continue to support
I think
him
the
as well.
balance
to go
it's gonna
into
be, it needs to be a balance of what you're both talking about, right? So what you're saying, I'm more on what Mario's saying because I've watched enough. I love the Argentinian national football team. I do. I love watching them. I obviously like Messi a lot. So I agree with you 100%. The way they play is very give it to Messi, stand back, and watch him play. Think about players like Aguero, considered probably top 3 strikers in the world. Gonzalo Higuain, same, top 5, whatever. You watch him play for Argentina, and it's just not the same. And you look at the Argentinian midfield, it's not the same. They pass to Messi, and they just disappear.
But you see what happened with the friendly between Brazil
It's
and...
a friendly, though.
No, I'm just saying.
And there's a friendly
The
with a new
fact-
coach.
Yeah.
But the fact is that they weren't playing individually. They were actually playing as a team, which is what I'm saying.
But
they
that's
need to
what
play
that
as a
came
team.
with the new coach.
That's came with
Yeah.
the
So
new
that's
coach.
what
They
I'm
need to
very,
play-
I'm very excited about the new
Yeah,
coach. I think he'll
exactly.
bring structure to the team.
That's what I'm actually saying, though. They actually need to play as a team instead of just relying on one
Easier said than
person.
done, though, Mitch. Like,
They can pass it to him, but
Look
they
at
need to.
Australia.
no,
They need to support him as well.
No,
If they're
correct.
passing it to him, they need to continue to come up.
Yeah.
They just
But
can't
they
sit
don't.
back.
But they don't.
But that's what they did with Brazil.
Because
they actually came up.
I mean, that's because like a direct correlation with the actual coach.
Yeah.
But the coach said, we are no longer playing for Messi. Messi is another member of our team, and therefore we will all play as a team, and this is how we're going
you
to play.
take that pressure off Messi. You watch
Yeah.
how he plays.
But that's what I'm actually saying, that you can't just rely on one person. You need to actually support him as well. You can't play one person in the team. You need to actually fucking pass it to him. Yeah, good. But you actually need to come up.
But you
need to
also
come up with
on that note. But you also said that they were taking the ball themselves, which is also a negative. But so yeah, I know.
Anyhow,
But they were
what I
never.
like,
But they were never
Regardless
trying to
of
give
the
feed.
controversial Messi effect, this is why it's controversial, guys. It's the Messi effect, you know. Sometimes it's shit. Put an Argentinian shirt on him, he plays like rubbish. Anyway, I was very impressed by Pogba, you know, throughout the whole season because he did try his best, and I think he was held back by his own expectations of, well, the media is saying this, and I know I'm this good,
And I'm a world record fee.
I'm
player.
a world record fee at the time, and I'm trying all these things, and you know what? He was very unlucky, hitting the post a couple of times, missing shots, and then you know every time he missed a shot, it was scrutinized. He missed it because he stepped at this angle. It was just to be quite fair, a clusterfuck of things that happened with him.
But he also.
But he came good at the end of the season. He sort of developed into his own shoes. He started passing the ball. He started giving assists. He started the vision that the man has in a football field is second to none. This is why he's a great player for France. This is why he was a very fantastic player for Juventus.
All at the age, still only 23. I think
Exactly.
Yeah, we talk about, you can't forget that 23 is so young.
You saw a few times when he actually fed the ball to Zlatan and Zlatan scored. It was all because of Pogba.
Incidentally, this ties up with the second greatest signing that we had. And incidentally, a free transfer.
Yeah, free agent. Yeah.
Free transfer. What a great deal that we had, you know? And I am so glad for Ibrahimovic that he proved all the critics wrong. When all the critics were saying at the beginning of the season, he's not going to score more than 20 goals. He's too old for the Premier League. He's too old for English football. Guess what, guys? He scored 28 goals in all competitions, being the highest goal scorer for Manchester United throughout the entire season. It was unfortunate that he got injured at the end of the season. I personally think he would have been offered a new contract if that didn't happen. But you know what? It would have been fantastic. One of the only things that I would say that were bad about his sort of play style was that he held the ball a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Pardon me, that comes with age, that comes with the leagues that you come from. But I think he would, if given the chance for a second season, he would have been fantastic for Manchester United. Unfortunately, we won't see that happen.
Well, I'm actually talking about leagues. There's a rumour at the moment, it was just a day old as well, that he might be coming to the A League, into
would be fantastic.
Melbourne Victory. So
this coming season.
yeah,
There's
coming
no
season.
way in hell that'll happen.
It's rumoured, but
why
you never
would-
know.
yeah.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
You
It
never
could
know.
happen.
His manager is Raiola, and Raiola is the biggest
Anyway, I'm not use the word, but anyway, he's going to find the most money he can, and there's no way.
It's just a rumor, but
Yeah.
you never know. The sell of Sydney weather might.
I don't know what could
Sydney
sell him.
weather,
I don't know
Australian
what could sell
weather. Might.
as opposed to Spanish weather or
The Zlatan gets sold on nothing.
American like Miami. He could, I don't know. I don't think
There's a
Why
lot
would
of
you put on play for Miami?
money. That's the thing. He's
there's
35
more
now.
money
Why
over
would
there.
he? Why would he? What was he going to go earn here? Nothing.
There's better Minnesota lifestyle. So in regards
Miami. No, just-
in regards to what happened with Manchester United, why did we finish 6th in the season? I think it comes to I, being a fan, think that we were unfortunate in the games that we drew. We drew so many games that we should have won. We drew so many games that we should have lost. Ibrahimovic played a great part in those late goal scoring chances, but incidentally, we only lost 5 games in the season, guys.
Yeah.
And the only notable team that we should have beat profusely would have been Watford, and we lost against them.
Yeah.
But the other teams that we lost against was Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham.
Yeah.
So 4 games, which realistically were 50-50. We should have beat Watford because, our pedigree.
No, I think it was Stoke you were thinking of, wasn't it? Not Watford.
No, it's Watford. We lost away
Yeah,
to Watford.
Yeah. But you drew twice to Stoke, I believe.
Stoke draw here and Stoke draw there. Yeah,
Which is a game that you should have won.
in the draws, in the draw side of things. But it's we won 18. We won 18 games. We drew 15. That's just for a club of our caliber.
Yeah,
that's too many draws.
Yeah.
If a couple of those draws would have gone our way, we would be celebrating right now.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite happen. I think that was we were just very unlucky. I mean, we were really bad, personal opinion. We were really bad when we were managed by Van Gaal. When we had the Memphis Depays, when we bought Ander Herrera, which was incidentally the best player of the season that I do not rate whatsoever. Personal opinion. You can leave a comment in the section below if you think I'm wrong. And I welcome it. I want you to tell me why you think he's that good. Even if you give me statistics, I'm still going to think he's rubbish. But I appreciate your input. But in saying that,
head in the sand, no?
Yeah.
no, just I know what I like, and I know football enough to know that he is not an excellent player. He's just lucky by circumstance. But 15 draws in a season, unacceptable for a team of our caliber.
How much? So we talked about Mourinho before, and I think this is where his playing style is an issue for me. The draws are. There are certain moments I remember. I didn't watch much Man United last year. There were certain moments in games where aggression by the manager could have pushed you over the edge.
Yes.
But his fear of maybe losing and his conservative approach would hold you to that draw.
Yep.
Would you agree with that statement?
I would 100% agree with that statement.
Well, I'd liken it to the Alex Neil effect as well, just going back to Norwich. He was playing way too defensively. I know you give me shit, but fuck it.
No, I was gonna. We went from the Messi effect to the Alex Neil.
The fact is, you're playing for the draw. You're not playing for the win.
And it can happen.
What's the point? What's the point of playing if you're just playing for the draw?
And this is what I like about Allegri. There's a few games we lost last year because he went too aggressive, and that's what I hated about his tactics in the Champions League. Half time, he somehow didn't push.
Yeah.
He went against what he's been doing all season.
Yeah,
and
right?
that's what ultimately.
I would have rather lost with us trying to push for the win than whatever happened there. So that's what I was thinking with Mourinho. I think a few of those draws...
they were a bit 50-50. They could have gone for more. I think maybe at this stage of the season and the results pushed him to be a little bit more conservative.
Maybe even the confidence of the squad that he had at the time. It wasn't what he wanted.
Maybe. I mean...
Or he just didn't feel like he could defeat the opponent.
No,
so
maybe.
Just
It could be anything.
So that's what happened with Manchester United at the end of last season. What's really exciting about this new season, though, is that we incidentally have a defender that I have known nothing about, but my colleague here, Mitchell, knows a little bit about.
Yeah, Victor Lindelof.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, from Benfica.
From Benfica. So you told me, I personally don't rate him, but that's because I haven't watched him. So I don't know much about him. I think we might have been in the, like, especially when a record transfer gets triggered by PSG and Barcelona. I think Manchester United had the funds to buy a world-class defender.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Victor Lindelof is not.
Because you guys bought him off from almost 30 million. It was 29.75 million pounds that you bought him for.
Okay.
I reckon he's worth every penny, pretty much. You once you watch him in action, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Any welcome addition to the defensive lineup that we have is a good addition.
What's his background?
He's from Benfica. He's
No, like nationality.
I'm not too sure where.
I think
he's
I think it was German. I think he was German.
It sounds very much like a German name, but he's
like 90% sure it was German.
Yeah, he's a pretty solid defender. The only issue I have with him, he doesn't release the ball quick enough. He just holds onto it a little bit too long. But other than that, he will stop that. He'll stop that centre forward getting through to your keeper.
Which is an excellent addition to Manchester United. I think the signing of the season for us, though, has to be Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah,
that guy was an unstoppable force in Everton last year. This year, with the absence of Ibrahimovic, we needed a strong striker that can hold the ball at the front lines, but can also run onto the ball with Rashford. Sorry, oh my God, I can't pronounce names now. Rashford and Martial, left, right, running towards the goal. Let's go 100 miles an hour, see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest factor in that is Matic.
Okay. So you rate him, do you?
I prefer. Well, Matic, Pogba, and Lukaku will be the three that you'll really notice in this.
I think. I agree with Mitchell there. I think having Matic will allow Pogba the freedom, which will also give him a better link up with Lukaku as well. Yeah. And Lukaku could even start his run from deeper in midfield up to the forward line because Matic will be holding the fort.
And with Rashford out in the left wing as well, you'll just be able to open the back line up a lot easier than what you have been able to lately. That's if Mourinho plays them properly. If he plays them defensively like Van Gaal, you're fucked.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. I think, but it's the truth. But look, I believe he's the most exciting signing that we've had in a very long time. Yeah. Pogba's been great, but Lukaku is world class. Especially in the Premier League. Like that guy he knows how to score goals. Yeah. He knows what defense he's coming up against. Yeah. Incidentally, you mentioned Matic. He comes from Chelsea. I very much consider that a Mourinho signing. And Mourinho does this from time to time. It's the same thing that Eric Moyes?
Yeah, Moyes.
That he did his Fellaini signing, and we still have Fellaini. It's unreal. it's like 3 years. I'm like, why is he still doing that?
I never understood the Fellaini signing, and I still don't.
You know what? He was fantastic last year. I can't fault the guy, but I don't think he is suited for the team.
Yeah. Just
That's
on one of the
my
other
personal opinion as a fan.
Yeah. Just on one of the other transfers that you guys have done, Wayne Rooney to Everton. I don't know whether there's a bit of a back dealing going on there to get Lukaku in, but how do you feel about Rooney having left?
You know what? I felt strongly years ago about Rooney being the highest earning Manchester United player at the time.
Yeah, and for his work rate, yeah.
At the time, I was very, very annoyed that he got paid as much as he did and as much money that he got offered.
Yeah.
Because I figured back in my fanboy days, still to this day, I will think the same, and I don't care what you think or what you say. It's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it.
I'm intrigued. You're getting very defensive right now.
No, I would love to hear this.
When Rooney got offered that amount of money per week, right? This was at a time when Ronaldo wasn't earning that much money. This is years ago. This was when Rooney was at his peak, arguably. Gone on to do great things and be the top goal scorer of Manchester United history, and I fully acknowledge that. But at the time, the amount of ridiculous money they threw at Rooney when he was playing like absolute trash, I was like, why don't we just freaking throw the kitchen sink, get Ronaldo, he's about to win the Ballon d'Or, let's offer him that money, see if he comes back. Hey, maybe they did, and I don't know about it. But Jesus Christ, paying that much money, in my personal opinion, paying that much money for Rooney was a huge mistake. And then that season alone proved it to be so. Because you had Van Persie at the time, I don't know if you remember this. Van Persie, that won us the Premier League the year before, is getting paid less than the guy that's dragging the team down.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the only reason why they kept Rooney then, because then it was a very physical competition, and Rooney was he was a bulldog.
Hey, look, he's a fighter.
He was playing like crap at the time, but
Jesus Christ,
I agree. I think they did overpay him at that stage. Yeah. Where I think it's debatable is if that meant they couldn't sign Ronaldo. Yeah. I think they still had the funds to give Ronaldo the money he wanted because Man U had a
and there was talks back then, you know.
Because wasn't that when and if you could splurge on Di Maria at that time, I'm sure you had the money to put towards getting the wages. But I do agree. I think the fact that Van Persie was earning less at the time when he came and just kind of changed the landscape.
Destroyed. Like we had no prospects of winning that. We had no business winning that championship, and we won it because Van Persie from our direct rivals Arsenal. Yeah. Which goes to show how much Arsenal has been lacking in the last couple of years.
Don't get me started on Arsenal.
But that's a topic for another show. But look, guys, I honestly think that it's going to be a great season. As you've obviously heard from Juventus, you've heard from Norwich City.
I actually want to know where you think they're going to finish up this year.
So I think we're finishing top 4, possible 3rd. I still think that no team in the right minds can bet against Chelsea, even though they've lost many players. Chelsea, Tottenham, I think are the teams to beat again this year, if they can keep their players through the January transfer window. Yeah. But in saying that, guys, how about we play a little bit of trivia?
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Excellent. So, for the viewers out there, that I'm trying to find the page. For the viewers out there, I'm going to ask these guys a couple of questions. This could be a moment in history of football. This could be a famous player in football. I just want to kind of see if they can guess who I'm talking about, what I'm talking about, and what not. So at any time, guys, feel free to just call out the answer. I'm pretty sure I can keep a track of who answers what.
Do we only get one?
No. There's no. I mean, it's pretty broad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 questions. The 9th one, if you know a little bit about football, or history at least, you'll get it. I believe. I try not to make these too hard. So let's go. All right, guys. So I was born in Italy on February 18th, 1967. I am a former president of the technical sector of Italian football. In 1999, I came 4th in FIFA player of... Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I came 4th in the FIFA player sort of internet poll of the century in 1999.
Of the century?
Of the century. So he came 4th in overall of player of the century in 1999. In 1993, he was named World Player of the Year.
Baggio?
You got it. Yeah. It was Baggio. So the following questions was...
I'm going to say Pirlo.
played for Italy, 56 matches, scoring 27 goals. His most appearances were for Juventus, but also played for Inter and AC Milan, one of the only few players that actually did that sort of crossover.
Yep.
He is mainly remembered for missing the penalty
Yes.
in 1994 World Cup. So Roberto Baggio is the player of the trivia. So well done.
Thank you.
You get an extra point.
The gold star as well.
I don't know how points are going to work, but you get an extra point. So in saying that, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed.
Before we go, should we forgot to discuss the transfer, the major transfer of this thing.
We did.
Neymar from Barcelona.
Oh,
to,
sorry. My
just
apologies.
quickly, I know we've had
The topic of the show, it's been pretty long, but bear with us, guys. Wow.
Yeah.
World news, guys.
Yeah.
Neymar.
But as I was saying
over
earlier,
220
2 million euros, yeah.
Wow.
But as I was saying earlier in the show, I think it's has a lot to do with the fact that the Premier League has gotten that much of an injection in money that other clubs have decided, well, fuck, we've got to throw this money at players in order to bring them over here instead of bringing them over to the Premier League.
I don't know. I don't know if the Premier League really had that much of an influence.
Well, you see
Like,
the inflation in prices even for like lower leagues in.
I
You did
I
say
agree
that
in the
$40 million for a youth English player as opposed to Bonucci.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's. I mean, look at Manchester City. If the fans look it up, who they bought in terms of defenders this year, like Stones and stuff, went for 50 million.
They've actually spent more than PSG this transfer.
They have, and you look at the players they buy for that money, and then you look at Bonucci going to AC 40 million for a world class top 3 defender.
Yeah.
It's almost stupid the amount of money, but
Yeah.
the Neymar thing is unheard. I mean, that's
just ridiculous amounts of money to throw at one single player.
and it's going to change everything because as soon as Barcelona throws some money back, they take another player from a big club. Like at the moment, look at Coutinho, Dybala, or Dembele from Dortmund. It's going to be 100 million plus. Then the other team has to buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a ripple effect,
It's going to be a massive ripple effect.
But with the same token as well, a lot of the lower league clubs are actually raiding foreign transfer markets because it's not as expensive over there, which kind of helps them out as well, and it also gives like foreign players a chance to play within the English leagues.
Okay.
So it kind of balances out, but when you're in the top leagues, it's.
Do you mean you don't have a problem with?
When you're in the top leagues, there's an issue with it, but it kind of helps the lower leagues out as well because they're able to get these foreign players for like a decent chunk of change, but without actually going over their limits.
Okay.
So what you're trying to say is that because the price of Neymar is inflated so high right now, that decent amount of players that are of arguably a lesser quality are going to be a little bit cheaper just because of the category that Neymar falls in?
Yeah, so with that, like top league teams are going to pay like top dollar because they've got to pay that money to stop them from going to the Premier League.
Okay.
Whereas the lower league teams,
See, that's where I don't
England-
think it's to stop people going to the Premier League. I don't think that.
Well, it's unheard of to spend 222 million euros on one player.
Well, it is unheard of because it is the first time.
And
But
Neymar, I don't know whether he's
been
worth
first
that.
time.
I don't think the idea behind PSG splurging that money was to say stop. Because I don't think he had any links to the Premier League whatsoever.
No.
He was who was he going to go to in the Premier League?
Could have went to anybody with that
I
amount
don't
of money.
think. No, I agree, but I don't think there was a link. You know what I mean?
I don't think even they thought it was possible to entice Barcelona to just release. I don't think anybody entertained the idea.
No,
Let's-
no one thought 200. You know,
222.
So Spanish league in the Spanish league, you have to have a release clause in each player's contract. It's the only league I think in the world that has to have that.
Yeah.
But they throw these 200, so everyone's like, no one's going to pay that. But when it happened, everyone's like, oh, who's safe now? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. It's like, what kind of club has that money to just go? You know what?
This is the interesting
Well, that's
part.
the thing.
Do it. I mean, well, congratulations, PSG, man. If you is that what you're earning?
Well, when Leicester won the Premier League, I think they won £100 million. And I think with the amount of money that they've gotten from the TV rights, last place gets, I think it's £40 million.
Right.
And then parachute payments as they go down to the lower leagues.
Yeah.
So they've got that amount of money in Premier League. That's what I'm trying to say. That they got that amount of money in
Oh.
Premier League that they're able to increase the prices up and up and up. Whereas
There's-
other
there's-
leagues have to
I know
buy.
exactly what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I just don't think the Premier League financial landscape influenced the Neymar transfer in any way. I think it was more that PSG basically wanted Neymar, and
they were willing to
somehow
pay
had
for
the
it.
money. I don't know how. And
Well,
what baffles me is that financial fair play for the next year, right? So financial fair play for viewers is basically a club cannot basically lose more than $5 million in a financial year. Okay, now that means that their TV earnings, their match tick, all that stuff comes into account. The way they spent 222 million means that where's the directors can't put more than a certain amount of money to kind of boost that revenue up.
I think that they're relying on the fact that the jersey sales alone, the amount of people that they get through the
Jersey
gate.
and-
They're trying to say that they're making more money than Real Madrid or
Well, that's what
Man
they was
U.
actually. Well, what they were actually saying is that they'll actually earn more money than what they spent on him.
They're really praying for it, or they need to sell a lot of players. You might see them
They
sell a lot
will
of players.
sell a lot
yeah,
of players.
yeah.
But in fairness to them, you know what? Whenever I see a Paris Saint-Germain home game, that stadium.
Yeah, it's packed.
yeah.
It's
That
packed.
stadium is packed.
I agree.
Regardless of who they're playing, they're Paris Saint-Germain supporters,
is.
man. They're there.
Yeah, but they
So-
do need to sell
With that
players.
But
Yeah.
they need to sell
Yeah.
a lot of jerseys.
With
for
that
one.
fair play thing, are they able to invest that money into refurbishing the stadium and
Invest
increase
what money?
the like? You know how you said they can't they can't lose more than $5 million.
Yeah.
Are they able to offset that by investing it into
No. So they're only allowed a certain amount of money investment by the directors into the club to negate the
But
difference.
is the stadium considered the club though?
Yes, so anything to do with facilities and stuff would be the club. So the only way they can bridge the gap is through selling players, through winning Champions League and getting huge amounts of money through that. But
That's a fast stretch.
it's
I think that for the first half of the season, that's what they'll do. They'll use their players to sell, and then once the January 1st transfer window opens, they'll probably if they haven't earned money out of it, they're just going to sell players.
yeah. You'll see a but it's going to be a massive shift in football, and you're going to see I mean it's incredible.
Jeez. I mean, and think about it this way: Barcelona just received 200 million.
Well, if they're smart enough, they'll buy some midfielders and defenders, for God's sake. I mean, I don't think attacking's their problem. I think they just have no one.
There's no one in behind the fucking
But
ball.
think,
to stop it.
think about Barcelona, man. Think of what just the repercussions of this massive transfer.
It's huge.
Is he worth it? Is he going to win them a
I
Champions
don't
League?
believe he is. I don't believe he's worth.
I
that.
don't think he's not he's not the savior of Paris Saint-Germain. I hope he proves me wrong. I wish the guy the best of luck. I'm not
He's
saying
an incredible footballer.
Yeah, but he's not.
Like, I would never wish
Personally,
him.
I don't like how much he whinges and how much he's always on the ground. Skill wise, fantastic, and he's got a lot of upside. But I don't know, man.
it's gonna be a hard sell. I honestly think it's a bad investment. To spend that much money on
well,
one
you'd be hoping
particular-
you'd win.
Yeah,
But-
if you don't, you're screwed.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's.
Imagine.
I personally don't. I think
will they win
These prices.
the League One? Of course they will.
well, they didn't win last year.
But
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna do it this time.
You'd hope so. I mean.
But that's the thing. If they don't, they're going to lose a lot of good players.
So much. It's ridiculous the amount of money. It's obscene. But you know
But what
what?
if they have other gaps like their defense and their centre backs aren't? I mean, they've got what's his name?
Maybe they should bring
Thiago
back David,
Silva, but
maybe they should bring back David Luiz. You know, he's such a
This-
fantastic.
But that's the
centre-back.
thing, though. If they aren't winning, they're going to lose a lot of their decent players, and that'll have an effect on them for the next 2 years at least.
yeah, I think that their best signing of the season was Dani Alves.
Yeah.
If you have to ask me, they didn't pay anything for him.
Yeah.
And he's the best right back in the world. I'll say that he is. There's no one better. In Champions League football, I can't think of anyone better. The way he played for us last year, I don't
Dude,
know why.
Zabaleta, of course.
Yeah.
Nah, definitely not.
But because they didn't pay anything, but 222 million. We'll
not
wait and
worth
see. But anyway,
It'll be an
It's
interesting.
very interesting to see.
It'll be an interesting season ahead for the League One. I wish Paris Saint-Germain the best of luck. I don't know how you're going to pull it off, but you know what, guys? I hope you do.
It's something that we'll probably all watch with bated breath is to see how they
to
actually
see how it actually unfolds. But in saying that, guys, I really, really do hope you've enjoyed our first episode of Kickoff. Next episode won't be as long, obviously. We were trying to establish our season review and everything else. So what we're going to be talking about is the games that are coming up this week, how our teams performed, and any sort of transfer news until the transfer season closes. But until next time, guys, I'm Mario. That's Mitchell. Over here we have Carvin.
Stay ballin'.
See you next time, guys. Have a good one. See you next time, guys. Have a good one.